Many across the country are worried about what they are seeing from the stock market lately, especially those in or near retirement, where a downturn could spell disaster for your retirement savings. But what if there's an upside to a market downturn? Joining us to discuss this is Gary Mattson and Laurel Stewart, the father-daughter team at Mattson Financial Services, the sponsor of this segment. They're a firm that has been helping people retire successfully here in West Michigan for decades. You can also catch them on their popular radio show, Money Mentors. And so, Gary, Laurel, there seems to be a growing sense of worry surrounding the market lately.
Yeah, we call that fear. Yeah. And fear is actually false evidence appearing real. So are we going to recession? Is the dollar going to be worth nothing? We hear the rumors that the government's going to come in and take all your savings. I mean, all these things go on. And it starts with a rumor and somebody embellishes it and goes on, and this is all happening. And what's really going on in the marketplace right now, we're seeing inflation. We're seeing a huge number of things costing, scarcity on shelves at times, you know, even baby formula and those type of things. And then we have the worry is that, is my money going to last throughout retirement if I'm losing 20, 30% of that? So these are all the things going on, the challenges for being retirees. And the answer is just kind of like, this isn't something new. This has happened in the 80s. It happened in the 60s. It's now happening in 2020, 22, that type of time frame. But also there's things that we can do during that time frame to actually help us out.
Sure, I could see where that old saying, timing is everything, plays in here, because if you're younger and you say, hey, I'm gonna write it out, but if you're close, or if you've just retired, you might say, oh my goodness, you know. How do you help clients really ride out that volatility or even conquer those fears and worries that they have?
I think it stems back to that first conversation, or a lot of those conversations, as to what are your goals, right? We carve that out, and whether that's retiring in 2 years from now, or you already did retire and these are the things you're working on. Well, let's have a conversation about that goal, right? So maybe you have a specific investment or specific portfolio geared toward that goal. Well, we know that maybe that goal had to extend a little bit, or maybe we're still on that same time frame, it's just staying committed, right? Because we do know the market's going to go up and we know it's going to go down, and so it's just making sure that, are you in a position to take advantage of what's happening in the marketplace?
A lot of times clients, many firms will say, get me to cash or get me out and those type of things, and they're fielding all these calls, and we hear that a lot from our peers out there. And the truth of the matter is we have different calls. At least the majority of our calls are saying, are we buying yet? Have you moved my portfolio? Where's the opportunity coming? And they know that we have a diversified asset classes besides just stocks and bonds and opportunity in those. But also we have different strategies. And so there's strategies where you make money and you put it somewhere else and you get some extra money by putting it there. And there's other strategies where you put it in, you can get a coupon rate, so you know that's going to stabilize that for a while. Dividend investing is another way to go. So there's different opportunities, but the big thing, like Laurel said, is that sitting down with our clients and explaining what the expectations should be in this marketplace.
Yeah.
When you have a market that's 20, 30, 40% down, it's nice to say, you know what, my portfolio's not down that much, and the money I'm taking out for the income I'm using doesn't have losses, so I'm just going to sit back, relax, let it ride out, kind of like being on the freeway. If you're like me on the freeway and you're in traffic, I'm no good at that. I'm like, how can I get around? I'll change lanes and do all that. And that's the worst thing you can do, of course, is just relax. It's going to take time. Same thing here on the marketplace. It's going to take time. We have that objective. We know what we're going to do. We know what we're going to react to as we go through that, and we keep you informed.
Sure. So for those in and near retirement, there actually are some investments that could work during times like this.
They do work. They're proven to work.
Yeah. And we have different portolios, that have buffers and things. So if the market goes down a certain amount, you don't participate in that. That's just one example. But we have, a lot of different various investment vehicles or portfolios, depending on what your goals are, right? Because your goals and your trajectory in retirement or towards retirement are very different than mine. So that's why we focus on retirement, but we have a lot of different options.
So in essence, you could actually be growing your portfolio, which is hard maybe for some to believe, during this time.
Yes, and it's actually, like I say, taking advantage instead of waiting it out and saying, okay, I'm just going to put my head in the sand, as they say. No, it's actually making alternative moves, but we know what moves we're going to do, and we tell that to our clients already. They know what to expect, and they're hearing from us on a regular basis. The one thing that I think the worst thing an advisor can say is, hang on, it'll come back. Well, that's like saying to your child, there is no monsters in the room and the light's off. The question is, prove it. You know, what's your history? What is that? Put the light on. Let's show there's no monsters in the room. Have the capacity to know you have patience on your side. That's the hardest thing in this marketplace. And then making correct moves as the opportunities arise. We know that oil, I mean, just recently came down. It may go back up, but it recently came down. That's going to ease some of the pressure. Not quite there yet, where we like to see it. But again, things are going to move different ways. If you hear the word recession, does that mean, oh, we've got to really, really worry, jump out the window? No, actually, that could be a good thing because it'll hibernate some of the buying pressure that we see out there. And so some of those things are actually good for us. They can sound negative, but they're actually good for our economy in the short term.
Yeah, well, we just want to do things that are good for our retirement and our future. So how do our viewers get started?
By giving us a call. If you're one of the first 5 callers, if you save $500,000 or more for retirement, you can look at this as a second opinion to just get a checkup. Maybe you need to hear more about a philosophy picture, and so that's what we're here to do, is help you with that knowledge piece.
Okay, so for you at home watching, if you're watching the markets and worried if your portfolio can handle a potential downturn, take advantage of that special offer from Mattson Financial. If you're retiring or already retired, Gary, Laurel, and the rest of the team will sit down with you to personally customize a retirement plan that's just for you. This is a comprehensive plan that includes a look at your investments, your income sources, taxes, and so much more to help you get to and through that retirement that you deserve. Reserve one of those spots now. Call 616-514-3831. That number again, 616-514-3831. Gary and Laurel, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
It's always our pleasure to be here.
This segment is sponsored by Mattson Financial Services. We'll be right back.